All right, this is cause number 24 DCCR 0122, State of Texas versus Catherine Welch. Ma'am, are you Catherine Welch?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Welch is here with her attorney, Mr. Gertz. State's attorney is present. Ms. Welch was previously in court.
10 Dis 10 step into the courtroom. Not just a place of law, but the stage where truth gets its spotlight. Redemption? It's on trial today. As for second chances and worn-out excuses, they've officially clocked out. This isn't your average sentencing hearing. No, this is the turning point. A final chapter where consequences catch up loud and clear. So get ready. Catherine Welch isn't just standing before a judge. She's standing face to face with the weight of her choices. And when the past refuses to stay buried, prison isn't a threat. It becomes the destination.
Entered a plea of guilty to driving while intoxicated third or more, as well as a prior offense, which made it a second-degree felony offense. There was no agreement with regard to punishment. I have received the pre-sentence report, and has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
We have, Judge.
Are there any additions or corrections to that report?
Not from the state, other than I want to acknowledge I have received Mr. Gertz's sentencing memorandum.
I'm going to get to that too in just a second. Any additions or corrections?
Aside from the one comment that I make in the sentencing memoranda about a comment that she made about rehabilitation, I think it's more of a clarification, so I'm happy to touch on that. But other than that, we don't have any additions or corrections.
Okay. And Ms. Smallfino has already stated, as well as I received the sentencing memorandum at 5:47 p.m. yesterday. Going to point that out for the record.
The Harris County judge got her sentencing memoranda at midnight. So.
Well, it was reviewed quite early this morning, but I did review it. Ms. Smallfino, you've had time to review it as well?
Same, Your Honor.
Okay. Other than that, I think you all should have a couple, there's only a few, but there were some jail incident reports that should have been provided to counsel. Did you both receive those as well?
Yes, Judge.
I did.
Okay. Is everyone ready to proceed with sentencing then?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Gertz, do you have witnesses?
I'm not going to call any live witnesses unless the court requires it. When we have a person present from the Dream Center, if the court wants to inquire about that, I would essentially let her come up and talk if you want to have that conversation. But
Okay.
I think our focus here is going to be on the topics that we talk about or write about in the sentencing memo, and just sort of allowing, if the court decides to do what we're asking you to do, we are open and welcome to whatever the court requires of her.
Sure.
To enter and successfully complete. We just wanted you to have that option on the table as well. That
Okay.
is an option that doesn't cost the court anything.
Right.
The state anything.
And for the record, I'm aware of the Dream Center and their program and what they do. And so if I have any specific questions, if we get to something where I would need that, then I appreciate them being here.
Well, we're not easing into this. We're diving straight into the drama. The defense kicks things off by submitting a sentencing memo like it's a showstopper move, then casually tosses in a rep from the Dream Center as if that seals the deal. No witnesses called. No testimony. Just some polished promises and rehab optimism dressed up like a slideshow presentation. But the prosecution? Unshaken. It's like they've seen this exact script play out too many times to care. Another day, another last-minute attempt at redemption. Let's not forget, Catherine Welch already pled guilty to a felony DWI. And the file in front of the judge? It's not light reading. It's a timeline of warnings ignored and trust broken. So unless she came armed with proof, ignition interlock records, progress reports, and maybe even a heartfelt letter from her AA sponsor, good intentions might not be enough to balance the scales.
Her mental health and some of the things that she's experienced in her life, I'm not going to detail them on the record, but the court is aware of what those things are. Incredibly traumatic events that I think she had repressed and had never really addressed and explored. And so those counselors recommended not just aftercare, but a specific outpatient program to address some of the trauma issues that she's had. She went and checked into that program, stayed for basically a year, and again, did everything we asked her to do. When I told her to go get her own drug patch, I told her to go get her own interlock device. She did all of that. those records should be attached to the memo. She was successful, has been following the rules, doing everything we've asked her to do, had been going to AA, had gotten a counselor, actually reached out and befriended the director of the Dream Center to try to figure out what she can do next to sort of commit herself to her sobriety and to fixing the mental health issues that I think stem from the challenges that she faced as a young person. Sometimes it's easy to look at one side of the ledger, the rap sheet or the criminal history, and think that defines this person. What I have been fortunate enough to do is to really dig down and get to understand her as a human, and see that all the progress she's made, all the effort she's made, and see what she's done well and all of the problems that she's been addressing well. She's obviously very anxious about this day, but we've been looking forward to this day as well, to be able to present that. And I want to go down on the bottom of page 2, address what I was talking about in the CSI. So that I'm not saying that this wasn't the words that came out of her mouth, but when she was asked by one of the examiners in the probation report, if she felt she needed.
And now comes the emotional pitch, the defense's big heartstring moment. Welsh's attorney steps up not like a hired advocate, but more like a personal mentor who's taken her on as a passion project. "She's my responsibility," he says, as if we've entered the third act of a redemption docuseries. You almost expect a dramatic music swell. Is this a court of law or the pilot episode of Rebuild? The Catherine Welsh story? He lays it all out: childhood trauma, years of therapy, the sober living journey, and every milestone pinned like trophies on the wall of recovery. Her parole record? More curated than a lifestyle blog. Support groups, service hours, clean tests, but then reality hits like a gavel. This is her 10th DWI. Yes, 10th. At what point does grace reach its limit? How many lifelines can the justice system throw before it's no longer mercy? It's a loophole.
She didn't feel like she needed treatment. She wasn't opposed either. I want to clarify what we mean by that. I say this here, but what she would say, I think, is she did 90 days of detox rehab related treatment, has continued aftercare, has continued mental health care. But in terms of going to a program that is specifically targeted at people who are currently using or currently intoxicated, I think she thought that wasn't the direction that would be ideal. She will do whatever you want her to do, but I wanted to explain what that comment means. And so there's a lot of times, as you know, Judge, private rehabilitation programs will just reject you if you've been clean for 3+ years, as she has. And so they just won't even accept you at all. So I think that was just a misunderstanding or a miscommunication between the probation officer and Catherine. But nonetheless, she's willing to do whatever the court chooses here. Additionally, we've been in contact with her current parole officer. They are willing to keep her on parole instead of revoking her, depending on what the court does here. And so that was encouraging as well. I think we had the same kinds of conversations with them about her recovery and about her efforts. And so I think that was an encouraging sign from them. And then finally, Judge, you see, we didn't want to focus too much on support from the community because, again, this isn't just a run-of-the-mill case. This is a different focus. But she is married. She has a family. She recognizes the impact that all of this has had on her family and her relationships, the strain it has put on her husband, both financially and also emotionally. And she accepts responsibility for that and is asking the court to consider this extremely rare position that we're asking the court to take here. Obviously, if the court would like her to address the court, she is happy to do that, or I'm not sure how you can proceed on that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Malfino?
Judge, I don't envy the position that the court is in. Ms. Maureen, I do take very seriously the comments of Mr. Gertz. I take him at his word for that, and I hope.
Even the prosecutor can't hide the tension in her voice. It's a strange blend of stern authority and reluctant sympathy. You can tell she's torn between dropping the hammer or offering a chair in a support circle. "I don't envy your position, Your Honor," she says, a rare admission from someone used to arguing facts over feelings. But then she quickly sharpens the focus. Welsh already got a massive break. The habitual offender label? Waived. That's no small thing. It saved her from a possible 25 to life sentence, everyone agrees. The system failed her more than once. Missed chances, broken treatment plans, and a revolving door of temporary solutions. And yes, today she appears level-headed, medicated, and finally stable. But here's the catch. This isn't her first stumble. It's her 9th return trip down a road paved with good intentions and deadly decisions. So the question hangs in the air. Does current progress cancel out a dangerous pattern?
Those are things that you don't go to prison, even in their programs there, that you don't talk about. It's just, you just don't. And I'm asking you, please do not send me back to prison. I want to move forward. I have moved forward in my life, and this year that I've been in jail has given me more time to think and know that I am definitely headed in the right direction. I have a sponsor. I attend AA at home. I had moved on with my life as far as I could with my sobriety. I mean, I knew this charge was out there. And I think I made some really good choices with my Mid-County AA friends. They've helped me a lot.
And now, Catherine Welsh takes center stage. Her voice trembles, her eyes are damp, and her words carry the weight of years she can't take back. What follows isn't just a statement. It's a raw, tear-lined monologue that plays like therapy in real time. She opens up about it all. The dark corners of her childhood, the unimaginable trauma, the years entangled in exploitation and survival. She says prison only silenced her, but rehab? Rehab gave her the language to begin healing. Welsh tells the court she's different now. She's more aware. She's worked hard to build herself back, piece by painful piece. There's fear in her voice, but also strength. She's not just pleading, she's trying to prove she's more than her worst moments. But while her words may stir empathy, the paper trail behind her paints a far more haunting picture, a history riddled with dangerous decisions and second chances gone wrong. She says she's changed. She believes it. But the courtroom isn't just weighing emotion, it's weighing risk. And the question looms, can personal growth erase the potential tragedy that hasn't happened yet?
Open to anything. I will abide by all the rules. And do anything that's asked of me. And I think, I know now that I'm responsible and capable of taking care of my business and my life.
Thank you. So, Ms. Welch, Ms. Malfino probably said it yet best, and I get this often, and they don't envy my position, and this is the worst part of my job. But I worked hard to get here, and it's my job. Part of my job, it's several things, and it's to look at, obviously defendants and giving chances and things like that, but it also is about making our community safe. And I have to look back, this is your 10th DWI. It's not your 5th. It's not your 8th. It's the 10th. And while I understand the trauma that you went through, that you've been to Safe P 3 times. You've been given opportunities on probation where they were revoked. You've had opportunities while you were on parole to do what you have done now. And while I appreciate what you've done, and I think that's great, and my goal isn't to, to stop any improvement, but I can't, in my opinion, in good faith, go home tonight, look myself in the mirror and say I gave somebody on their 10th DWI, that your last sentence was for 15 years in prison. The one before that was for 10. The one before that, you've gone to another 10 year back in 09. I mean, this goes back to the 90s. You got a 10-year sentence in 2011. While you're on parole for that one, you get another one. So they give you 15 years and you get out and you're on parole and you do it again. The fact is, we're just lucky that you haven't killed someone in our community 9 times over, being given opportunities. I just can't do it. I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find and your plea of true to the prior offense. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of driving while in...
Then, silence. Heavy, deliberate. The kind of pause that fills a courtroom with tension and unspoken truths. The judge sits with the emotional burden of years spent delivering verdicts that don't always feel like victories. And finally, he speaks. This isn't her 5th offense, not even close. This is number 10. A decade-long history of chances given, rules bent, and warnings ignored. She's already served 15 years before. Then came a 10-year stretch. Then another 15. Yet somehow, the cycle never broke. He reminds everyone in the room. This wasn't just about self-destruction. The public was inches away from paying the price for her choices. More than once, his voice doesn't carry anger. There's no coldness in his tone. He tells Welsh directly. He doesn't hate her. In fact, he believes her pain is real, her trauma undeniable. But his job isn't to feel. It's to protect. And today, protection means accountability. The scales tip, and this time they land not on sympathy, but on safety. This isn't about giving up on you, the judge says quietly. It's about honoring the line between compassion and consequence. And with that, the courtroom hears what words can't soften, the sound of justice sealed in the click of handcuffs.
I sentence you to a term of 18 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. You're going to be handed a trial court certification that shows this was not, well, I guess there was an agreement because the waiver of the enhancement, which could have been a 25 to life, as Mr. Gertz said. So I'm going to hand you the certification that shows this was an agreement. You've waived your right to appeal. I'm also handing you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession, because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. You should read the written admonishment I provide you. If you have any questions about that, you can talk to Mr. Gertz. And Ms. Welch, I take no pleasure in this. This is extremely difficult for me. I understand to some extent addiction, and I understand that you are on a better path. However, there have been plenty of opportunities in the past where you were on a better path and you got back out and you got back on our roads again. And so good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Gertz and Ms. Malfino. Court will be adjourned.
18 years. That's the final sentence. But this isn't just the story of Catherine Welsh. It's a reflection of a justice system constantly balancing hope with hard limits. For years, she was given lifelines, treatment, parole, counseling, rehab. But at some point, even compassion has a ceiling. The system thrives on second chances, until those chances start risking innocent lives. So here's the real question. How many times is too many? When does personal transformation stop outweighing the danger posed to everyone else on the road? Because if she were out tomorrow, back behind the wheel, back in the world, would you honestly feel safe? This case isn't just a sentence. It's a mirror held up to the justice system, to recovery, and to the line we all draw between redemption and responsibility. Let us know what you think. Where should the line be drawn? Court's adjourned.